Huh? Wang, nyang, yeah.
I'll be going through the best episode of Adventure Time that you already forgot about. It's a catalyst to the series' progression of Finn's perception of the Ice King, going from an evil, crazy wizard to a more misunderstood and sympathizable character. But we'll get there. Despite its importance, the episode is putting Finn and Jake on the back burner for a while. So without further ado, let me reintroduce you to the Snow Golem with the warmest of hearts. In Adventure Time, you can never really be sure what life is sentient and what isn't. Snow golems were first introduced in Season 1 and are often used by the Ice King, although their origin aren't explicitly stated. Pause. Adventure Time doesn't really seem to have a problem with creating then discarding sentient life forms. There's so many implications, and yet no one talks about it. Just take Neptune, for example. After being created, he was forgotten for 15 months, 4 days. Hey, are you listening? The main story gives us a look in on the day-to-day routine of one of U's citizens. The Snow Golem leads his own life, seemingly unperturbed by the main character's shenanigans. The Golem is portrayed as an everyman, and a not all too happy one at that, giving him that essential hint of relatability. The little bits of dialogue in this episode are exclusively shared between the Ice King, Finn, and Jake, as their B story takes place in the background. Now, going in on Adventure Time expecting Finn and Jake adventures and instead being introduced to something else might be jarring to a lot of people, least of all its target audience. But the creators really knocked it out of the park. They're introducing the Snow Golem in a relatable way by showing us his daily routine, putting on his face, messing around in the mirror along with a perfectly accompanied score. It takes them all but 15 seconds to make us care about this seemingly unimportant piece of snow. The A-plot is kickstarted by the Golem running out of food. So on his way to scavenge for more, he passes by a generic B-plot featuring Finn and Jake and the Ice King. The premise here is that the Ice King stole some sandwiches and then proceeded to encapsulate himself in an unmovable ice armor tank thing. The Golem continues along to the edges of the Ice Kingdom, and on his way there he's passing by a deer, but not that one. Never that one. This is when the premise of the episode starts. When the dust has settled after a brief scuffle with a pack of firewolves, he encounters one of their puppies who appears to have taken a liking to him. The puppy, unbeknownst to the Golem, follows him home. The Golem, quite understandably, puts the dog afire outside, but then quickly feels sorry for him. Bringing him back into the house, he learns how to deal with a creature that, whilst not malicious, still is a danger to him. And together, they overcome their differences. Important thing to note here is that throughout this whole endeavor, the Golem doesn't really start smiling until he's met the puppy. Keep that in mind. Now, I really could go with this episode scene by scene just because it's jam-packed with moments that are equally endearing as they are hilarious. But I believe Adventure Time's own channel has posted snippets of the episode on their own YouTube channel, so go check that out. Eventually, the Golem comes to terms with what he's known all along, that he needs to see that the puppy gets home to his family. The implication here is that he has to cross the border of the Ice Kingdom and make his way into the Kingdom of Fire. The Golem brings the puppy through harsh environments in his quest to return it to its family. Environments that would scorch and burn any being alive, and even more so, a creature made out of snow. Finally, at their destination, the Golem is no longer himself. He's changed, physically, and is but a fraction of his previous size. The family gladly takes back their pup, but shows aggression towards the stranger entering their den. So backing up into the mist, the Golem returns home, one puppy less. He's at this point literally broken down and once again alone, with nothing to show for the sacrifices he's made. But there's some rustling in the bushes. Out jumps a pack of firewolves showing their teeth at the Golem. Thankfully, however, they finally recognize the Golem as a friend. And as the Golem reunites with his newfound friend, we see one more smile upon his face. And whilst this is taking place, we cut to the final conversation between the Ice King and our main duo.
Maybe we could all learn a thing or two from those sandwiches.
Watching two natural enemies getting along, Finn's cog starts turning. The Ice King has up until this part of the series been portrayed as a sad and twisted old man. Kidnapping princesses aside, he's ever since his first appearance been portrayed as a misguided individual, just looking for closeness. But the manners of which Finn and Jake has treated him has up until this point always been as a villain. But when the Snow Golem and the Fire Puppy, two species that should be natural enemies, was shown to get along, the two of them paved the way for a new line of thinking within Finn's mind. Maybe now he's able to see beyond the Ice King's deeds and look at the root of the problem, what the crazy old blue dude is acting out. For the next two episodes, not including the New Frontier. Disregarding that one, we'll be shown the Holly Jolly Secrets, a two-parter Christmas special that reveals that the Ice King used to be a highly educated, intelligent scientist, whose personality and sanity was shattered by the powers of the crown. But despite losing his mind, he didn't lose his most basic instinct. to be accepted and seen for himself.
I'll kill you all! Everyone was finally warming up to me.
This king's gonna be fine!
And
Is
now,
it
why are you
because
doing this?
I'm a magic user?
No, don't!
I messed it all up. Learn how to be happy. I'm so tired of looking at this face. Dead, 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 dead! Thank you.
This episode was a joy for me to watch personally because I had completely forgotten about it. But before you go, I want to thank you for watching and I'll see you around.